West Ham vs Chelsea, the battle for top 4 continues. Hey guys, welcome back to another match preview. This is West Ham vs Chelsea. Every game is an incredibly important game for Chelsea, but as we get into the final games of the season, getting top 4 and securing top 4 is going to be even more difficult. Chelsea have really difficult fixtures ahead. West Ham, Leicester are absolutely crucial. We also play City, Arsenal, Aston Villa. It's not going to be easy by any means, but right now we're just here to focus on this West Ham game. And what makes this so important is that Chelsea are currently in 4th, West Ham are in 5th, but we're tied for points. We both have 55 points and Chelsea are just ahead on goal difference. So really it's going to be a very, very tight match. Chelsea have 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss in their last 5 games in the Premier League, whereas West Ham have 2 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses in the Premier League. So really evenly matched sides, and it's going to be an absolute battle. As for some injury news, West Ham are without basically main man Declan Rice. That's a massive blow to them. They haven't kept clean sheets in their last 5 games. Cresswell is a doubt as well in defense, and they are also without one of their important strikers in Antonio. As for Chelsea, Chelsea are only without Mateo Kovacic, which is a huge blow personally, I think, because in that pivot we're really seeing rotation between Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, and with Kovacic out, it really makes it difficult to rotate, and we saw Mason Mount come back there and play deeper against Brighton. That really didn't seem to work, but also the team just was not in a good place to be playing. But I do think we need Mason further up the pitch. We'll get into all of that. So going to be very interesting, but I honestly believe that there couldn't be a better time to beat West Ham given their injuries and the players that are doubtful and not playing in this game. Tuchel said in his press conference today that he believes that West Ham are a really strong counter-attacking side, and I'm sure that we're going to see that in this game. So Chelsea definitely need to be aware. I've seen that we've been leaving some spaces open in the Brighton game. It was extremely open, and Tuchel talked about not leaving those open spaces and being really quick to win the ball back in the counter press and just have control of the ball and the pace of the game, and that's going to be extremely important. So we have to be really careful against this West Ham side, and it's a possibility to go 3 points clear in 4th, so we really need to win this game. As for my team, Tuchel has already said that Mendy will be in goal. He had started Kepa against Brighton to reward him for his work in the FA Cup, and he said that he's been training really well, but that Mendy would be starting in this game. And then it's very difficult yet again because Chelsea play on Saturday and then they play Real Madrid in the Champions League on Tuesday night. So really that is not a lot of rest time for these players. So it's very difficult because both games are so incredibly important and we need to rotate. So hopefully we're going to see fairly rotated squads. Otherwise I feel like some players might just be burnt out because 2 days really is not a lot of time to recover. So looking at that defensive lineup, I think that I would personally play Callum at right wing back because I'm thinking that we're going to see Reece James against Real Madrid because he's more defensively minded. So I would play Callum here because I do think we're going to have the majority of the possession and we're hopefully going to have the ball more in their half, at least I hope. So I would play Callum at right wing back, and then I would play a back 3 of Azpilicueta, Christensen, and Rudiger. So I'm thinking Thiago Silva gets rested for that Champions League game. Personally, I would play Azpilicueta, and I felt like I saw a really big difference in that Brighton game when he wasn't on the pitch. I know he's getting older and he's not going to be able to play every single game, but he has been playing a lot, so I don't see any reason why he would have any difficulties playing this game and the Real Madrid game, but let's see. And then at left wing back, really it's so difficult because I do think that Ben Chilwell has been looking really strong, and I do think that we need to put out a very strong team against West Ham. Perhaps we won't have as much defensive work to do as we would against a team like Real Madrid. So maybe you play Alonso in this game and then play Chua in the next game. Like I said, if there was more time to rest, maybe I would be more willing to play more of these players in both games, because it's honestly that important for me. But I just feel like 2 days, you don't want to risk it, so you want these players to be fresh for the games. So with that being said, I think maybe we see Alonso come into this game and Chua play in Real Madrid. But if Chua is fit and he can play the 2 games, then I would play Chua. The pivots where it gets interesting, because we have only Kante and Jorginho fit. Personally, I would like to see Billy Gilmour get some minutes. I am unsure why he hasn't had any opportunities to play, and it's a bit of a bummer for him because he could have gone out on loan and gotten some minutes, especially ahead of the Euros. But with a game, you know, Kante is like on and off of his fitness levels. I think he's still kind of recovering a little bit from the injury. Jorginho, I don't think, can play 2 games back to back so close together. So I think that we need to see something, and I really don't want to see Mason Mount playing in that pivot. Like, I understand why he did it, and at first I was actually quite excited about it because I was like, oh, I'd love to see how Mason plays there. But I just feel like Mason is so integral and so important to our attack, and we really missed that when he was playing further back in the pitch. So I would love to see Billy Gilmour come in. Otherwise, we're going to see Kante and Jorginho, and they might be too tired. So I would rest at least one of them in this game, and I honestly trust Billy Gilmour a lot, but it's down to what Tuchel sees in training and if he thinks he's ready for it. From what I've seen, he hasn't been playing Gilmour, so I would be surprised if he starts, but honestly I would love to see it. But I think he's probably gonna go with a Jorginho and Kante pivot. And then for the attack, definitely have to have Mason Mount in there. And it's interesting because I feel like we're starting to see like 2 pairings emerge. We're seeing, I think, Pulisic and Havertz are playing a lot together, and Timo Werner and Ziyech are playing a lot together, and I think that they're starting to gain some chemistry. We saw that in the Man City game that Timo Werner assisted a Ziyech goal, and we've seen that before in the Atletico game as well. So that partnership is starting to bud, and I think that Havertz and Pulisic are also starting to gain chemistry. So for me, it's really all about like, who are you going to play versus Real Madrid and who are you going to play versus West Ham. I think that we're probably going to see like one of those 2 pairings. You know, honestly, it's a real crapshoot. Like, you could see any of them, and none of them are really making a case for starting. Like, all of their form has been really up and down. Like, they'll score a goal and then they'll have like an off game, and then they'll go on and have a pretty good game, but they won't score. And it's really been the story for all of them, so I'm not like too keen on any one person starting. I think maybe versus Real Madrid you might have more space on the ball, so maybe that's a case for Ziyech to start versus Real Madrid instead of against a West Ham, who I think are going to be really compact. So maybe you play somebody who's better in tight spaces, like a Pulisic and a Kai. Yeah, I really have no idea. It's going to be interesting, but that's what Tuchel is there for. I do feel like it's going to be one of those pairings, but we're just seeing so much rotation. It's basically impossible to predict at this point. I personally would probably play Pulisic versus Real Madrid, so rest him in this game, which means I would probably play a Timo and Ziyech, I think. But honestly, it could go either way. It really could. Honestly, and I just thought about this, so I'm kind of just adding it in, but this could be a really good game for Tammy, and I don't understand why he hasn't been playing, honestly. Even if he plays off the bench, I think it would be good just for him to get some minutes and to prove his point. Maybe you don't want him starting necessarily off the bat, because you have to remember, if you haven't played in so long, it could be difficult to get back to that match level, that match fitness, that intensity, the chemistry with your teammates as well. But it could be a really good game for Tammy, and he's proven himself. I want to give him another shot, so, you know, why not start him or give him an an opportunity to play in this game, like I absolutely would. I really have always rated him as a striker. I've really liked him. Like, yes, he does have areas to improve, but I also don't think he's going to be able to improve on them if he doesn't play. Could be a matter of the contract situation. Like, we really have no idea what's going on. Tuchel says that it's just a matter of training and that it's unfair, but you know, he has to pick his team. But something that was strange, I think it was against Brighton that we had 2 left backs. Like, we had Emerson and Alonso on the bench, but we didn't have Tammy, and that was just weird. So something doesn't feel quite right. But honestly, if you're going to give Tammy a chance, I think that this is a really big game to try to score a goal and to show that he can be counted on. So personally, would love to see him play as well, but maybe it's just not really suiting. Maybe his style isn't suiting the formation or the style that Tuchel wants to play. But you know, if you're having people who aren't scoring, then why not give it a go, right? As for a score prediction, I'm really nervous. Jesse Lingard is in some incredible form. He is scoring goals, it seems, every week. If you don't have him in your fantasy teams, definitely get him in. But I would take one for the team and hope that he blanks so that Chelsea can keep a clean sheet and get the win. But jokes aside, Jesse Lingard, definitely need to be on the lookout for him. He's really, really dangerous and lethal for West Ham. And so I feel like we could potentially concede a goal. We haven't been keeping that many clean sheets. Like, we've been keeping clean sheets, but it hasn't been as consistent as we were in the past. So, you know, I'd go for like a 2-1, but then I think where 2 goals going to come from, I don't feel super confident about that. So I'm going to go for a 1-0. I'm going to say that Chelsea get the win. It's going to be tight, and I'm going to say Pulisic scores because I think he looks the most like scoring if he starts. And if he doesn't start, then I'm going to say Ziyech scores. I don't know. So I just don't want people to score, you know? I just want to see like, yes, 5-0. That's amazing. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, don't forget to drop it a like, subscribe to my channel. I have some really exciting guests lined up that I freaking can't wait to announce for the end of the season. So it's going to be really cool. Turn on notifications so you don't miss it, and make sure to follow me on socials as well, because you know I'm super active on there. So let me know what you thought of this match preview. Who's in your starting 11 for the game? Honestly, help me out because your girl is lost, and how you're feeling about the game as well. And until next time, I'm out.